Hello, welcome to the next installment of this. I'm rechanging this to learn from masters, and we're gonna take various master scores and learn from it. I'm taking this example of Rimsky-Korsakov's number 3 example in his orchestration book. And I suggest learning from masters compared to learning from Hollywood composers because they use orchestrators. So let's start. He wants you to concentrate on this violin melody. Very high register. Use a notation program so you can isolate things like this. The sample playback's terrible, but let's listen to everything. And the reason I stuck this in the notation is so I can isolate parts. This doesn't substitute for listening to the real thing. I don't want to run into copyright issues, so I'm just going to do this. The wind groups. So let's listen to the horns. That was accompanying it. We're tearing this apart piece by piece, part by part. Okay. Now we'll isolate the strings besides the melody, main melody violins. There's one reason I chose this is the interesting thing that happens there. But the first thing you should do is figure out the harmony, because if you don't know the harmony, what's the point of studying it? So we got an F pedal point. This is an F major. We got a 1, 2 passing chord almost feel. Now 1, 3. A full diminished seventh of 2, full diminished seventh of 1. If you don't know this already, a fully diminished seventh chord acts just like a secondary dominant. So you should probably know that. So let's check out what's going on at an reduced basis. I did this for you again. One of the reasons I chose this is because how he orchestrated static chords. There's motion. This is the flutes and oboes. And with the clarinet added in there, you notice the clarinet plays, and he wanted to most likely emphasize that line, and then the oboes and flutes go downward chromatically, so they get, it's static, but it gives independence. And the bassoons, they're playing this just this pedal point, so we don't really need to go over that. The horns, I'm just going to play restrikes because I can't sustain a keyboard. So these are the chords that we're getting. You notice the horns are the only ones that play the F sharp. Sorry. So the reason I picked this example again is that all the parts have motion instead of static chords. That's why I chose it. How to use static chords and produce motion. Most of the time, the only non-harmonic tone I believe is in the violin melody. So now here's the part I find interesting too. With the melody is the second violin. Sorry. The second violin playing this rhythmic figure. It almost sounds like, it still sounds like a doubling of the melody. And now let's play the second violins by themselves. It's real slow. So there's motion to it. So that's again why I chose this. Instead of static, there's motion. I like that because it sounds like it's still doubling that melody. That was a cool trick. And the violas just, they come in right in that part. And I believe the reason he did it like this was to have that motion really stick out. That what's seemingly independent but still static chords stick out. And of course we have the basses and the cellos just playing a pedal point. So we're not going to cover that in depth. It's just, I'm sorry, right here. Or they're just pedal pointing right there. So on the C. So what's step 2 after this? Emulate these people. So I'm going to go ahead and I wrote this out in about 20 minutes, so forgive me if it's not the greatest thing on the planet. And I wanted it to sound more Hollywood than I did classical. So I used a very Dorian-ish feel for most of it. This took me about, literally 20 minutes to do. So don't worry about making a masterpiece. Just emulate something so it's stuck in your head. So let's listen to it. What happened? And then I kind of transitioned into something just so I felt like I was composing. But here's the basic chord structure. I'm sorry. Kind of a Dorian feel. Very typical Hollywood. And the raised third 5. 1-1. So it's basically got that Dorian feel up till the 5 chord. With a raised third. So it's very simple. Here, we'll play a really, really reduced version of what I did. Real slow, passing notes. Real slow, intentionally, so you can see what's going on. And notice something interesting here, is the end part uses melodic minor, where the raised third, but going downwards. So that whole going downwards with melodic minor in the traditional taught way is not always true. You can actually go downwards with melodic minor. And so there you go. What to get out of this is really this static chords, but with seemingly motion between the parts, and emphasized motion and also that I really think that second violin split like that, almost seeming like it's doubling the main melody in a rhythmic way, and it's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So enjoy, have fun.